before getting into this demo, let me introduce myself. Total, I have a 10 plus experience in this BIM industry. Let me mute everyone. So I have a total 10 years of experience in this, more than 10% experience on this BIM industry, and I've been into this programming field into 4.5 years, around like 5 years. Let's consider 5 years. I mean, when the Dynamo has introduced in 2015, so I've been started working within that year itself. I've been into one seminar, so I understand the importance of. I just noticed. I mean, that time my manager used to support me that even he didn't know that this is going to be a boom, and in a small party we just had a discussion that this is going to be boom, and well, you can play with some sort of an applications. That time we don't have so many resources, that many resources as of now available. Okay, well, anyhow, so from that day I've been into this programming field. I mean, especially into the BIM programming. Of course, I do have some sort of a programming background when I was in college itself, so it was like added as a backbone for this entire setup. Okay, well, I've been developed more than 300 scripts, like to the clients itself, and I have created more than like similar to 75 to 100 add-ins itself. So I've been into this field from, I mean, the teaching field on this API uh, from last 2.5 years. Okay, I've been trying more than 200 plus candidates itself. Nowadays, everybody realized, I mean, that there is a very much growth in this automation. Actually, we would expect this within last year itself, but due to this COVID, most of the companies, instead of like hiring automation candidates, they're firing even the modelers as well, due to some cost cutting or some other reasons. Maybe in this coming year we can expect the good growth for this BIM automation, guys. Okay, because there is a proven survey which says one BIM programmer equal to 5 BIM modelers. Okay, well, when it comes to the main I mean, like into the main agenda. So most of you people having some confusion, I keep getting a WhatsApp text, sir, do I have to register, I mean, do I have to learn Python for, I mean, to get into this Dynamo? I don't know why. I mean, most of the people, even like two or three people said I learned this Python. What is the use of Python? Well, uh, that's a different Python completely, where we have a different kind of a Python. So I don't know what kind of a Python that you have learned. When you apply the same Python in I mean, in Revit itself, there is a platform. Let me show you. So if I can write something in this, so Python script. Okay, where we have a Python script here. You cannot apply your concepts the Python concepts, whatever you learned, you cannot apply here. That Python is different and this Python is different. That is a Python. We have a C Python, we have a J Python, we have a F Python, we have Anaconda Python, we have a lot of Pythons were there. So out of it, this is a completely different. Where somebody said like it's Iron Python. I don't know, like, how did you learn this Iron Python? Iron Python is somewhat that you play with the application. I don't know with which application that you played. So this is a completely different Python. So even the libraries were in Python, which is not similar to the Python, that there's a lot of syntax. For example, when you're using any statements on Python, you must have to close it. You must have to close it. When the dot notation sometimes won't work in a Python, but you use a different concept called like dot notations in Python. So, well, coming to that, let me clear something from your mind, which is in your mind. There is no programming I mean, the coding experience required to play with the Dynamo, first of all. Okay, well, but why most of the people, I mean, from most of the sources that I have seen, they're using Python. Are they saying wrong? Yes, they're saying right. They're saying right. Am I wrong? No, even I'm right. But when do you apply this? Well, let me show you that. Okay, see where we have a Python here. I'm not showing any Python here. This is an Iron Python. Why I'm missing this Python? If you learn Python, you will be most like you will be confusing completely. We will be teaching you the Python, but not up to 100% concepts. So till what extent you need, till what extent that you can understand, that till what extent that you can apply some sort of a concepts with the help of, I mean, with which are similar to the Iron Python, will teach you those. If you learn Python and you learn Iron Python, you can't play with either Python, you can't play with Iron Python, because completely the syntax was different. The syntax is completely different. Okay, well, in the Dynamo itself, like we have another programming language called like design scripting. I hope you know that there is a design scripting. We will be teaching up to that extent, like we'll be teaching you the design scripting. I mean, you don't use a nodes, you don't like to use the nodes at all. Okay, so that's what the design scripting. So once you learn the design scripting, it will take some time to play with Iron Python as well, because syntax, again the syntax issue. Okay, but where you learn the knowledge over there, okay, where you understand, okay, this is the concept. But when it comes to the reality into Iron Python or into the programming, where there is a different thing, that's a visual programming and this is a programming. Okay, you can feel the difference, but instantly you can't, instantly you cannot jump. Okay, so anyhow, if you're new to the programming, then a tool that you need, it is a Dynamo, because Dynamo is not a programming tool, it's a visual programming tool. It's a visual programming tool. What do you mean by the difference between programming and visual programming? A thing, you cannot see the code, where you can't see the code, but something, some sort of an actions would performed over there, that is called visual, like programming. Visually you can see something, visually you can do something, but you cannot, I mean, you cannot change the code over there. Okay, well, that's called a visual programming, and this programming is not new to the industry. This visual programming is not to the industry. This has been there from so long. Like I'll be showing you some sort of an examples, like what is like visual programming. So let me go to the Google. Mm, visual programming tools. Visual programming tools. When you Google it, I'll just go to the images and see. There are a lot of visual programming tools. None of them like both are like similar. We have one programming tool which is having some sort of a connections. Generally we called as a wires. Okay, and these blocks we called, I mean, this boxes we called as a blocks or nodes or graphical interface like the GUIs. So we can call it with any different kind of a names. Okay, when I click on this is a different interface again. This is a different interface. So those who attended yesterday, I mean Sushant Sethi and someone. Okay, well, you can see this. I mean, this explain it anyhow. So this is a new, this is a programming tool. This is also again a visual programming tool. Let me, this is mostly I like it. Let me click on this. Let it load. Um, oh yeah, it has loaded. Let me open him as a new tab. See now. So where this is the general flow, how it works. with the visual programming. We have some sort of a data in the first box, and we have some sort of a data in the second box, and that is going and feeding somewhere in another box. Okay, well, we have some sort of a data. Like, let's consider we have an alphabets like A to Z here. In another box I have a number like 1 to 27. Out of this, what in this box itself, like what it has to do, it has to perform some action. Just concatenate those two, in the sense adding those two, like one alphabet with one number. It's like A1, B2, so C3, okay, and D4, E5, like that. Okay, well, what is this node then? It will be adding some sort of a separator, I mean some additional character in between those two. It's like A-1, A-2, I'm sorry, A-1, B-2, C-3, D-4. So those kind of a thing. So this is the this is how actually the data flow from one to another one. I mean, if you're when you were in childhood, you used to play with some sort of a flow charts. This is how, which looks like a flow chart itself. Even when it comes to the Dynamo itself, like we call it as a flow chart based programming, we call it as an associative. It's not imperative. Okay, well, let's say, let me close this. Let me close this. Okay, well, this is not a new. This is not new. Where we have a lot of tools. Okay, how it works. How it works. Okay, well, in a like in a one line, I'll show you another Dynamo interface how it looks like. Okay, there is a tool called like a Scratch. There is another tool called like it's a Scratch. So we have a blocks here. So generally, how do you see the Dynamo interface? If I open and show you the Dynamo interface, we have a block where we can find some sort of a let's say move. I can see move here. I can see some sort of an items which can move or remove or whatever it is based on our keywords. Okay, well, this is a workspace. This is the workspace, and we have a watch node something. Likewise, we have a nodes here. We have some sort of a blocks here. Okay, which can perform some sort of an action. For example, we have a cat, and I don't want to write any kind of a code because I don't know the coding. I don't know the coding. I want to move this cat for like 10 steps. So what I do, I'll simply drag the pre-written script. So this is already defined. This is already written by a coder, by a developer. I mean, whenever the user will click on this block, the cat has to move with some sort of a user defined steps. So user defined number. What is the user has defined? See the value which can be variable, which can, I mean, which can be varying. Let's say if I say like 50 steps, let's say 50 steps. When I click on this, the cat which is moving much faster than before. Let's say if I write 100 steps. So where the cat is moving much faster than before. So like what else I can do? Uh, turn. So I'm saying that turn this cat for 15 degrees. So I mean which are like which looks like adding some sort of a movement. Well, if I want to turn in a different direction, in different angle, now this is how. So this is how it has to be when I mean, if you want to see actually how it looks like. So when I add this to this, so when I add 10 and when I switch back it to 0, so when I click on this, the cat will be moving for 10 steps and which is rotating, which is turning. Let's say if it is like 30, move. So which is moving and which is turning also. So three different actions were performing at the same time. Okay, so this is called code. I mean, it's like a block based programming. It's a block based programming. Generally, what we do, play here, the one which I've shown you here, this is like a flow based programming. This is like a flow based programming. We can see the flow. We can see the flow. I mean, we can have a lot of inputs even. Like you can do some sort of an actions at the same time. In fact, like if you see where we use some sort of a chatbots, where this is using for my business, so where you can play with it completely. Oh, did I close that? Jolly has it for my business, Control H. Okay, how it looks like when I click on chatbots and templates. No problem, Raj. I'll share you. This is anyhow the session is going to record. Okay. Well, when I click on this money and when I click on a preview about, so what it is doing, so which is giving some sort of an options. When I click on about us, I want to see about us. So it understand and it will give you the complete instructions. So where we called as a triggering and action. So triggering in the sense, if you switched on something, if you switched on something, it will perform, it has to perform some action like turn on the lights. If I switch off, it has to turn off the lights. If I, I mean, if I do some sort of an action, it has to on those kind of, for example, uh, when I, mm, when I click on a wall icon, when I'm in Revit action, I mean, when I click on this wall icon, then what it happens? Then what happens? The tool has to be active and it start creating based on the start point and wipe point. So this is called triggering events. So triggering and performing some sort of an events. Okay, well, what do you see behind it when I click on this and apply template? So select board like something and click on apply template. Are you okay? So where in the background, I can see some sort of a coding again. This this is how actually it looks like. This is how actually it looks like. So when I click on about us, what it has to perform. And if the user click on something I want to know more, then input will be considered and it will give you either input. Again, it will show you something which is related to the business. Okay, so this is how actually the entire script has written who visited my website. So this is what, like, wherever you go, the visual programming is the best like startup to understand the flow of a programming simply. Okay, so visual programming is the first step to understand uh, the programming. Okay, well, it's much easier to understand. I mean, you can't directly, if I start teaching you the coding like this is how you have to write, this is what you have to write, then you might confuse. To avoid that, to get rid out of it, then you have to learn some sort of visual programming concepts for sure. Okay, well, so this is like a code. I mean, this is like a block-based programming, and that is like a code-based programming. That's how, I'm sorry, flow-based programming. Both are completely different. Okay, well, so we have some sort of, we have another process like it's a AI. So if you start speaking something like we are working on it, when you start, when you click on an add-in, it activates a voice command, and I'll say, I have a 150 square meter area and draw a walls in a perimeter. So it will understand my voice and it will start drawing the walls by itself, exactly which match 150 square feet, I mean square feet or like square meter area. So this is called artificial intelligence again. The one which I've shown you, that is also an AI bot, artificial intelligence bot. So we are developing some sort of things for my clients where we are going to release in 2023, not in 2022. We will be, is it? Guys, can you hear me? Everybody?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay, someone has lost my voice. So uh, I think Imran. Imran. Okay. Well, okay. Well, so this is how I mean, this is how the BIM automation. So still, Imran, if you have any audio issues, please do join into your mobile as well. Okay, so that you can I mean, if you have a voice option from your mobile and you can see the screen from your PC itself. Okay, well, so we are you are into first stage still. Okay, where the BIM automation is in very extreme level nowadays, because you can see some sort of tools which build the complete I mean building by itself, like if you go through with a test fit, so testfit.io, so there are a lot actually. Okay, well anyhow, so what do you mean, let me clear something. We are out of the topic. So if you're new to the programming, then this is the tool that you want to go with. Okay, so once you are very good in this, if you feel like you're more advanced than in this topic, then you have to learn the iron python. Then you have to learn iron python, where where we have a I don't think so we have some sort of resources available to play with the iron python somewhere in google or anywhere else. Okay, we have very limited few. So I'll tell you one thing. I have seen some sort of a tutorials, those who can those who saying I'll teach you the entire dynamo in 3 years. How come? So funny. Because I do teach, there are some sort of a concepts. I do teach each key concept for 2 hours. One key concept will take 1.5 hour to 2 hours to understand. Okay, likewise, we have a 10 key concepts. So 10 key concepts will take 10 days for sure. And every day it would be like 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So it is almost like 1.5 hour to 2 hours. Every day it's a full movie. Okay, and that too, those would be very fruitful, in a very fruitful manner. It's like it would be in a very cleaned uh, it's very in a in a very good with a very good examples. Okay, so if you go and check my feedback on my linkedin, I mean the recommendations on my linkedin, or I'll be showing the feedback in the end of the say, I mean end of the demo. So you'll come to a decision whether you join or not. Okay, well, so if you can't find a node, then code me here why you can't find a node. Because dynamo has some sort of limitations. You can't do everything with the dynamo, guys. There are some limitations. Based on my experience, that there is a 60% success rate that you can achieve if you are a very advanced user. If you are a basic user, you can achieve 100%. You can achieve 100%, because whatever you're searching for, that somebody has already created some sort of a scripts. You have to know how to call those scripts. You have to know how to call those scripts. That's it. Okay, if you know the technique, you can do, you can okay, you find a node, but how to use it? If you know like how to use it, okay, something went wrong in it, if you know like how to troubleshoot it, you are the master. You are the master. That key concepts will be teaching you during the entire training. Don't expect that you teach me that kind of a thing. These kind of, my intention, our intention is to, you have to create your own scripts based on our logics. We teach you here the complete theoretical part with nice examples, with a very like one or two examples. Until unless you don't understand, we'll keep giving you the examples. This is how the training would be. That is the reason 1 hour training went to the 90 minutes. Now the 90 minutes training went to the sometimes it's like a 2 hours. Okay, but still I'm happy to answer. Even the session went to 3 hours as well. Okay, well, so code me here, learn python and come to me. That is what it can say, but not up to the complete python. It's up to some extent. And the third one, it's like I'm not easy like a python. This is not easy like a iron python. Okay, so you can play with me, which even python can't. Still, when it comes to the iron python, this success rate is 80%. If you see, most of the add-ins that we do develop with I mean the scripts, I mean based on the user inputs. The user, if the user is expecting something, they ask me the dynamo scripts. One second, Faiz, I'll come to you. Okay, where we can't say that we cannot do with this python. We cannot do this with python itself. Okay, well, generally we had a discussion in the evening itself. Like I hope you know this guy. Like we have a conversation here. So this guy is expecting something, but can I give that solution through a Revit add-in? Why? Because we cannot reach everything with the python. So there is some limitations within the python itself. So again, like okay, anyhow, this is completely different. So Okay, well, so in that case, like we'll be uh, using a Revit API, I mean like C sharp concepts. So how do you create zero touch nodes? What do you mean by zero touch node? What do you mean by custom node? What do you mean by general nodes? So there are a lot to understand in it. Okay, we will be teaching you the the first module successfully up in a very short time. It's not short time, it's 30 to 35 hours. 30 to 35 hours. We'll be providing the Autodesk all the digital certificate. Okay, and we'll be providing the, like a badge which what you achieve. I mean, once you done with your Revit certification, it would look like that. I'll be sharing with that later. So essentials for everyone, and this is what you mean by this. So out of your team, I mean, like we have a like 7 participants. So out of you, 7 few are from MEP, few are from architecture, and few are from structure. I hope you have some like some sort of a question in your mind, like is the Dynamo only for architecture? Is the Dynamo only for the structure? Or is the Dynamo only for like MEP? No, it's not. There is no such a bad questions. Dynamo is for everyone. Dynamo is for everyone. You can achieve some sort of a complex geometries. You can do structural calculations within the Dynamo. You can do I mean, you can place the entire structural columns, bars, rebars, and everything, beams, and everything with the help of a Dynamo. You can place any kind of a MEP elements based on a CAD. I mean, when you link a CAD file onto the Revit Revit, the Dynamo will able to understand where the actual points were. I mean, where the diffusers were in the CAD file, where there is a cable tray in the CAD file. So it will understand. It will draw the cable trays. It will draw the ducts by itself. You clear? So where the Dynamo is for everyone. Mostly, uh, this Dynamo geometry will be played with very few guys, because those who are like a managers, those who like a structural like persons, they don't need this. Only the BIM managers or those who are into the completely computational architectural part, those who done their masters in the architectural programming, they will be only playing with the Dynamo geometry. So if I've been trained Dynamo, it's completely into this for everyone. It's a for everyone. Okay, if you want to seek your career into the architectural programming, then you have to go through with this additional course again for architectural and structure. Okay, this is a 15 days training program. If you're not playing with up to that extent, I mean, even this is fine for architectural and structures as well. Okay, well, most of the architects, those are very satisfied with this training program itself. Okay, well, so geometry is extreme thing. What you can do within the geometry, that I'll show you. That you can create this kind of a like a training, this kind of a like a, I mean, geometrical objects. So this one has been developed within the Dynamo. Okay, which took us to create less than 15 to 30 minutes, between like 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, well, when we convert this into the mass, then again it's very easy to convert that into the surfaces, or it could be converted into anything else. Okay, so these kind of a complex geometries that you can develop with the help of like this Dynamo. Okay, guys, can you hear any sounds? Can you hear any like any air sounds from me, from my end? No, right? No,
No.
no, right? Okay,
No, no.
perfect, perfect. Well, so this is how actually, I mean, where how do you create? How can you create this kind of a tunnels, and how do you create this kind of a bridges, and how do you create this kind of a railings? Everything that can be done with the help of the Dynamo geometry course. Okay, it's not necessary. Like, I mean, I'm an MEP person. Why should I learn all this Dynamo geometry? Most of the people confused when I start teaching all this geometry concepts. Sir, I'm not going to play with any bridges and all. Why we need all this stuff? So that's why we separated, and it's a 15 days additional course. Generally, the entire Dynamo course is like a 30 days, but we have separated into the two parts. where the dynamo geometry is not required for mostly the MEP. If I have a 10, I mean generally in a batch I do have a 10 persons, okay, and out of the 10, like 8 are MEP and 2 are like arc and structure. That's it. So that is how we separated that module completely, and we are not charging for even that. Okay, well, these kind of complex geometries that you can do within like a couple of minutes, not even you can change the designs in seconds. Okay, so this is how interior looks like, and you can develop these kind of things, and these everything. Okay, so this is what the use of like dynamo geometry. This is the use of like dynamo geometry. Okay, well, the entire we have a 409 slides. Out of this 409 slides, 400 slides, we have a 200 slides for the dynamo essentials, the key concepts and the dynamo geometry, like 200 slides more. So R and Python, that's a different module. This is before you learn this, you have to pass some assessment. Okay, that then you can go with this advanced module. Well, let's getting into that now. I hope you're clear, and let me explain you what is the dynamo and how do you play with the dynamo. Whether you join the program or not doesn't matter. I would like to bring you some sort of a confidence. How do you play with the dynamo? How do you understand the dynamo? Okay, well, so this is called a node library. Generally we will find some sort of a nodes. How do you play, I mean, how do you find a nodes? For example, I have some elements here. I have some elements here. Okay, well, I want to know how many electrical equipments. So when I connect this, when I select this element, this is an electrical equipment, so this is an electrical equipment. How do I know how many electrical equipments were there in this view itself, in this model, entire model? Okay, how do I do that? So I have to there are some sort of a notes that first I have to define the category. So category in the sense like what kind of a category. So this electrical distribution, electrical equipment, that is called a category. So when I choose this electrical equipment, what it is saying, okay, I choose an electrical equipment. So I have a category with me, and I want to see all the elements of the particular category. I want to get all the elements. I want to know how many elements were there of this particular category. So if I ask the same thing, um, all elements, all elements of a category. So when I type that here, I'll be getting this. When I connect this to this, okay, it is saying like 29 elements I have in this current model. I have total 29 elements in this current model. Okay, well, let's go and check whether it is right or not. I'll just go to the 3D view. I'll go to the 3D view. Okay, so let me turn off everything except that electrical equipment, and let's click OK. Now when I select all together, so it's showing it's like a 29 elements. It is showing it's like a 29 elements. Okay, so this 29 elements, that is right. Okay, that's perfect. Now how do I come to know? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to see the complete elements, electrical equipment within the model. Okay, so within the model, so I wanna know only how many electrical equipments there in this particular view. That's it. Okay, so in that case what I do, I'll refine my search a bit extra. I mean like I'll do a more cleaned refine. Okay, so I want to know all elements of category in a particular view, in a view. So I'll be searching like all elements of category in view. So in view, when I click on this, now the node itself that is expecting, okay, this is fine. This is fine. It is expecting category. So I cannot connect this to this. I cannot connect this to this. Why? Why I cannot connect this to this? Because when I hover the cursor on this, it is saying that element queries of category. It means actually this is the node name that is expecting argument types. What do you mean by argument types? These two we called as an arguments. generally we called arguments in the programming perspective. That is called, it's called like inputs. Okay, so this is an input. If I split this into the two parts, the left hand side part we called as an inputs, and right hand side part we called as an output. I'll come to that later. Okay, so inputs and the outputs. Okay, well, so this expecting the category. Oh, that is expecting a category as a first input, and there is a comma next to the comma, and the second input that is expecting a view. So that is expecting category, and the second input that is expecting a view. But I connected with a family instance. Family instance in the sense like element. We connected an element to it. So what it is expecting, it is expecting a category. When I connect the category to it, okay, that is showing like 29 elements only. It is saying that 29 elements itself. Okay, well, what about the view here? Okay, it is expecting a view now. So what I do, I'll use active view. In a active view, when I connect this to this, now it is showing only 17 elements. So I have refined my search in a bit advanced than a normal. Okay, so if I go and search in the active view itself, when I select all the elements, when I click on filter, electrical equipments, I have a 17 components. Electrical equipment, I have a 17 components itself. Okay, well, if I search for like any conduits, if I search for like conduits, oh, it is saying total I have a 20 conduits in the entire, and within the active view itself, it's saying it's like a 20 conduits. Well, what else? We have a hmm, okay. Well, this is fine. So what I do, I'll just go with ducts. I'll just go with the ducts. So total we have a 724 ducts, but in our view we don't have any ducts. If I draw a duct here, DT, if I draw one duct in this model, in this view itself, okay, well, let's see VV ducts, that I can click OK. So I can see the ducts now. It is showing like we have a 20 ducts within the view. So if there is no ducts in that active view, this is called active view. If I switch back to this another view, this is going to be the active view now. This is going to be the active view. When I switch back to the when I switch back to the Dynamo, why it is not taking? Actually, it's supposed to take some time. So it acts like weird. Okay. Well, when I connect this to this, hmm, it should not be. Okay, sometimes it acts. Okay, it has to refresh by itself, like let's say control C control V. That's because of this node. When I connect this to this, now it is showing it's empty list. Some sort of a node, it needs a refresh. How do you know exactly this node needs a refresh? Because this is called zero touch node. This is called zero touch node. So how do you understand? If you see a node, you have to say in a seconds, where is the problem? You have to troubleshoot a script. Like if you're in a meeting, then somebody is struggling with a script, and if you are the person those who went and troubleshoot that, the people looks at you very admiringly. Seriously, you will be get a very good credit in front of either he could be a manager, he could be a BIM lead, whoever it is. Okay, so if you could solve that, that is where you got the credit over there. Okay, well, we will, I mean, the entire training we will teach you up to that extent. Mostly my training would be go on onto the troubleshooting itself. Okay, everything I'm going to show you example how do you do that, and I'll explain you why you have to do that in a same way. Will we be getting notes for the same? Of course, I do share the video recorded sessions files. So this could be I mean, whenever if you lose any topic, if you have any you don't, I mean, due to work pressure, if you don't have a time to practice, no worries, you can go through with the recorded sessions again and again and again. Okay. Or else, you mean written notes? I don't think so you required, because generally I use some sort of a mind map tools like this. I'll be using mind map. I'll be giving you the notes in a form of like a PDF. So this is more than enough. Like how it looks like, let me show you. So Dynamo Training Club. Okay, so this is how actually I do teach generally. Okay, so what do you mean by programming, and what do you mean by coding, and what is a indirect coding, what is a visual coding? So visual coding, again, in the visual programming, block-based programming, flow-based programming, what are all this? How many Dynamo flavors we do have? So everything which is written, which would be written in front of you, and I'll be giving you the same notes as a in the PDF format. I don't like you to write the notes when I'm explaining something, because like it conveys of course, if you're very good in writing the way as I explained, that would be fine. But most of the people will note their write the notes. If I say something like 100%, they'll be writing in completely negative. So I'll be providing these kind of I mean, what do you mean by variables? Like, what do you mean with the data types? Everything in a cleaned notes itself. It looks like this, the complete notes. Okay. Well, so I'd use this kind of a mind mapping tools the best, and the mind mapping has practically proven there is no such a notes writing better than the mind mapping. Okay, where most of the trainers prefer this. Okay. Well, so no worries about that. I mean, if you want to join, you can join anytime in your next sessions. If you don't have a time to practice, sit and practice, after 6 months, if you want to join our program again, you can come and join. If you share the receipt again, so this is how, I mean, anyhow you have a certificate, it'll be issued, and if you set that credential ID, then you can join again. That's not a problem, not a big deal. Okay. Well, so this is how it would be, this is how actually. So all elements of category, I can't see any ducks, I cannot see any ducks. I mean, if I switch if I turn on the ducks, if I turn on the ducks, when I click OK, it the script will auto refresh and it will show total 725 ducks, total 725 ducks in the active view. When I switch back to this, it will be showing like okay, it needs again refresh. So the same node, Control C, Control V. So when I connect this to this, now it will show it's like a 20 ducks I do have in the active view. That's it. When I select all this, filter, now I can see 20 ducks. It's a very precise. Okay, this is how actually it looks like. Okay, why should I connect in this way itself? Why should I connect this? So where we have a lot of nodes where all elements of category in view, all elements of category in view, all elements in active view. So all elements in active view. So when I connect this, it says total we have a 161 elements in the active view. 161 elements in the active view, including the spaces, including the mechanical systems, including the duct, the families and the floors, walls, curtain grids, curtain panels, mullions, everything. Total, we have 161 elements in the active view. So everything that you're not going to write here, you're going to extract how to verify whether the node refresh. That's a secret, guy. Like I cannot I cannot reveal you on that demo. Okay. Well, it will take some time. I mean, you have to clear at least understand 6 to 7 sessions to get into that complete knowledge. Okay. Well, then only you can easily understand what, I mean, what are the nodes needs a refresh. Generally, what happens when you run the script once, it will execute perfectly. If there is any change in the model, when you execute the same thing, it won't execute. You thought there is a problem in the script, but there is a problem in one set of one node. It's very hard to find where is the node. That's what the secret. How can I reveal that? Okay, well, so this is how, this is what like troubleshooting. Yep. Okay, well, don't take it negative. I mean, to understand that you have to went into a lot of topics, Fires. Okay, well, so when I close this, why should I connect this to this? The first tip for today, that is, how do I understand this? Okay, let's say we have a 725 ducts where we have another method to extract the ducts again. So that is element types. We have a, I mean, we don't have only one method. If you ask me, if you go for an interview and they asked to do a class deduction without Navisworks, without the Navisworks, you want to isolate the entire elements within a couple of seconds without Navisworks installed and do all this. So how do you do that? Let's say element types. So I'll be getting the ducts here. I'll be getting the ducts and all elements of type, all elements of type. I'll be getting like element types to the element type. So I got like 725 elements. So this is these two set of nodes will are extracting ducts information, and those two set of nodes extracting the seven. I mean the elements information. But what happened? Okay, I use a node. The first node would be this, and when I connect this to this, oh, it is giving the warning. When I connect this to this, it will be giving you the warning. Why? Because this uh, there is a logic behind it. There is a logic behind it. Why? What is the logic? So as I explained you, so every node has two phases, guys. Okay, so one is a input and output. So you have to break every node into the two parts. I mean, like how you do the anatomy. I mean, generally the biology students, what they do, they'll cut the frog and they'll see what is inside it. They'll cut the cockroach in between and they'll see what is inside it. And even though after you cut that cockroach, still the heart beats for some time. Okay, even if you cut the frog, still there would be a heart rate, because they'll give some sort of an they'll inject some sort of chloroform to that frog, and they'll restitch it. So how do you do their anatomy? So this is called anatomy, and you apply the same anatomy on every node. Even this secret is a part of that anatomy. Okay, well, how do you understand this? So I'm gonna reveal the first tip, that is this: the left hand side part is called input and right hand side part is called output. So this is an input again, this is an output again. So this is an input, this is an output. Let's say this is an input again, this is an output. Okay, well, very clear. Now what I do generally, so input, output, why I separated like input and output? The output of the first node should exactly match with the input of the second node. Otherwise it will give you the warning. Otherwise it will give you the warning. Why it is giving you the warning? That's because of the data type. What do you mean by data type? Again, that's a very lengthy story. If you finish the data type concept, you can play 10% of, I mean, you'll be very confident on writing your script for mostly 15%. That is the second session of our training program. The second, that's what I'm saying. From the third day itself, you'll be start writing your own scripts. The day I explain the data types in the second day, you'll be able to understand everything, how the parameter works. We will be playing with the parameters on the third day. So you will be completely get the confident, and you can start understanding any kind of a node. You can call anything, you can do anything with the parameters. Either you can play with the shade parameters, you can play with the project parameters, you can play with the reporting parameters. With the help of a Dynamo, you can extract the information, you can export it into the Revit, and you can bring it back. If you've done some sort of changes in the Excel, and bring it back, bring the same data into the Revit, you can do all these actions within third, fourth day itself. Very confident, because till now, whatever our students did, based on that rating, like I'm gonna explaining you. Okay, well, very confident on that. From the third day itself, you'll be start writing your own scripts for sure. Okay, well, so The output and the input must match. Where the output, if I read it, it is I mean it is the output is category, and the input that is expecting a category. Okay, so category and category are matching, so that is fine. So types and element type, that is matching. This is an element type and this is an element type, so that is, those are matching, so it works. Otherwise what will happen, it will give you the warning, are idiot, this is expecting something and you have connected something else. How it will work? Okay, if you're expecting, I mean you are in Egypt, and if you give Indian currency over there, will they accept it? No, right? There must be a translator required. There must be a Western Union, like there are like some sort of a money translators required. Okay, even if you wanna use this category to the category, when you connect this to category, then it must understand it. So this expecting a category, I mean this is you're getting a category and it must have to connect to the category. Okay, well if it is expecting the type, you must have to connect the type to it, then it works. Okay, well this is the first step. Output and input must match. If you go and check any kind of a scripting, any kind of a script, that is the first phenomena that you should follow. Okay, otherwise it won't work. See here, it is expecting a view, I connected a view. If I connect this to this, it will give you the warning that is expecting something and you connected something. So you have to understand what would be the connection. What would be the connector? For example, I have a category and I have all elements of a category. So all elements of category. So what I do, even I have an all elements of category here. Okay, all elements of do you have any something which are related? All elements of a model category. All elements of a model category. If I connect this, which is directly giving you the 309 elements. I no need to use all elements of category again. I don't need to use any elements of a category here. I can get that here quickly within a drop down. Okay, where do you use this? And all elements of category in view. This node is different and this node is different. All elements of category in view, all elements of categories in view. Here there is a view in the second place, and here the views in the first place. So based on, if you connect a category to it, you will not be able to get anything until unless you connect a view. When I connect this view to this, you'll be getting like 20 elements. Okay, even if I change the view, it will understand this node doesn't need any refresh. How do you know that? Again, it's a tip. Again, it's a secret. Okay, well, so this is how actually it works. I mean, the output and input must match. Remember this, it's a first tip. If you're not play with any Dynamo, if you go and watch any kind of a Dynamo scripts, this is the concept that they do apply. Okay, well, what is the second tip for today? Let's say how do you play with some sort of an elements? For example, I have an elements. I have an elements. So I have a total ducts. I have a 724. No, I can't play with that meaning. So it will take a lot of time. So electrical equipment. So I have a 29 elements here. I want to know the element IDs of this uh, elements. How do you do that? So where there is a tab, so generally if I go to this, okay, well, control N, I'll take a new one. Okay, well, so central topic, so I have a person, like I have an element. Okay, so I have an element here. Let's go and get some element here. So what is that element? Transformer flat icon, transform flat icon. Let's get into the images. So copy image, I have a transformer here. Okay, well, um, robot icon. I like robots a lot. So copy image. So I'll create something else and I paste it here. So I have a robot here. So I want to name this, I just name this robot information. So what is the robot information? Like I want to know the name of this robot. I want to know the name of this robot. What I do, I'll ask, how do you ask it? If you ask something, there is a method to ask something which you doesn't know, which you don't know how to call, uh, like with the help of some sort of a methods. Okay, the first method, it is like a dot notation. That's called dot notation. That's called dot notation. Okay, so what do you mean by dot notation here? The robot, it is itself, it's like a dot notation robot. So when I click here, I want to get the name of this. So I want to get a name, and I want to get sorry, so hit tab again. So I want to get which language does this robot speak? Language. And mm, does it artificial, I mean, what is the height of this robot, and what is the weight of this robot, and what else? So something else. Now how do I call this? There is a method called like within the dot notation itself, like I do call, it's like what is in your hand right now. Okay, and put a dot next to it, put a dot next to it, and then what are you expecting to see, or what are you expecting to get? Okay, well, this is the second tip for today. So how do you call it? I mean, if I have a category and I want to get, I want to get all elements of the particular category. If I have an element, I want to get all the parameters of that category, I mean, element. So I have a parameter, I want to get the name of parameters. So how do you do that? How do you do that? So robot, I mean, I want to know this name, like it's a robot. Okay. So for that, what I do, robot dot name. If I want to know the name of this robot, I want to like uh, I want to add what is in your hand right now. I have a robot with me and I want to get the name of it. I want to know the name of it. I want to know the name of this robot. I mean the language. I mean what kind of a language does it speak? So robot dot language. If I want to know the height of this robot, then robot dot height. So if I want to know the weight of the robot, robot dot weight. Okay, so this is like extracting. So this is like extracting information that we already have this robot. Okay, so let's write something here. Robot name is Bimera, Bimera, and language does speak. It's like English. And robot dot height. It is like a 6 feet 0 inch. Okay, so robot weight is almost like 100 kg. So 100 kg. Well, this is fine. So if I call robot.name, it will print Bimera. If if I ask robot height, it will print like 6 feet 0 inch. If I ask robot weight, it will print like 100 kg. If I ask robot language, it will print like English. No, I want to change this robot language. How do you do that? I want to place a one more node. It's called robot dot set language. Set language. So there is a different method called like get language, like set language. So whatever, there are some set of a nodes that, then what language do you need to set? Okay, let's set Spanish, because I know some sort of a Spanish very. I have a girlfriend when I working for a company. Okay, well, I'm just kidding. So if I set English to Spanish, then it will change within the robot itself. Now if you ask what is a robot language, then it will print it is like a Spanish. This is how actually it works. It will auto update by itself. Okay, where there is a method that the node, which can able to extract the information from that element, and which can set an information to the element also. Okay, as well as like if I want to get the ID of it, ID. Okay, let's say dot notation id. I want to know the name of this element. I want to know what is the rating of this element, and I want to know what is the kva of this element. Okay, I want to know what is the category of this element. Now what I do in that case, element, because we already have an element here. What is in your hand right now? We have an element, so the output as an element. So element, what I want to get, id, correct? Okay, well, the location, I'll add location as well. If I want to get the location here, I can get the name, element dot name, element dot rating, element, oh I'm sorry, control z, element dot location, element dot category, element dot kva. This is how actually it would be. Now where the dynamo is extracting the information, how it's extracting the information, as we can't see the location information in the revit parameters, correct? We can't see the id information in the revit parameters. Then how it is extracting, does it have any magical powers? No. Where it is reading from a different parameter set. What do you mean by parameter set? The parameters which you see in Revit, those are not even like a 10% of the actual parameters that we already exist. Seriously. Okay. Well, where are the rest of the 90% parameters? You can ask me, then I'll show you. If you don't ask, I don't show. Shall I? Where, for example, I have an element here. I have an element here. Okay. Well, there is a tool called Revit Lookup. When I click on Snoop Current Selection, so where this is the parameters palette. This is a properties palette for the BIM programmers, not for the Revit users. Either you have a 10 years of experience, doesn't matter. Even if you have a 15 years or you have a 2 years, doesn't matter. You cannot see this without. If you not, if you don't know how to use it. Okay. Well, where I can't see the element ID information in this properties palette, but a BIM programmer can see the ID of that information very quickly. 746 575. 746 575. Okay. Well, if I want to get the location point, now I can simply get that XYZ point location. How can I get that? Okay. So, well, let's say click OK, and I want to get the parameters list. So all of these parameters that you can see, the same parameters where you can see the properties palette, you have only access only for these parameters, only one value out of it, that is called as value string or as string or as integer. That's it. For example, when I click on as load phase a, the value apparent load phase a b, apparent load phase b, apparent load phase b 51222. This is what you can see. This is what you can see. The rest of the items that you cannot see at all, you can't see here. Do you understand? Okay. Well, if I click on um, total connected, like let's say go and OPQRST total connected. When you click on total connected, you can see the value. It's like 151984.68. That's it. You can see only that. You cannot see rest of the things at all completely. Okay. Where when I click on this element again, it will take you somewhere else, and within that a parameter set, within the workset ID and which workset this element has been assigned. Even you can get that workset information. So everything that you can see. Okay. Where mostly most of like we have only one element id for one component, one element, but actually not, we have a 4 different element ids for every element. Seriously. Well, where this is the id, where is this element coming from? I'm sorry, where is this element coming from? This is coming from a different type of a family. Okay, so if I go and check the get type id, so 619617, that is a type id. This is a second element id. Okay, where is this type coming from? This coming from a different family. So when I click on this, where is a different family ID again? Where is this family coming from? It's coming from a different category. So this is a different ID. So we have a four different IDs over there. We have four different IDs. See, if you have a experience with the Navisworks, when you're trying to copy element ID from a Navisworks, when you're trying to paste it in a Revit, sometimes it will show it's like a grayed out. Sometimes the properties palette it will show it's like a grayed out. How come? That is because of this. Every element has four different IDs. If I can show you this Revit hierarchy, this is how actually it looks like. Okay, where we'll be playing with the elements, these elements having a different IDs. And where are these elements are coming from? They are coming from a different type of like a family. Okay, so these are a different type, and this is a different type, and this is a different type, and this is a different type. Each and every type has its own ID again. Every family again, it has an own ID. Every category has its own ID. So for one component, for one element, you can see one element ID, second element ID, third element ID, and fourth element ID. For every element, there are four element IDs. Okay, so if I can switch back to this, ignore this. So when I can ignore this as well. So when I copy this element ID, this is a type ID. When I click OK, and click OK, just go to the manage and select by ID. When I copy and click OK, see the properties palette is completely grayed out. The properties, this is how actually it looks like when you're copying element from Navis, and when you paste it in Revit, this is how actually it looks like. You don't have any access to edit some model. This is how but you have a option to the type selector. So because the element that you the element ID that you copied from the Navis, that is for the type, that's a type ID. That's not an element ID. Okay. Well, this is how actually it looks like. That's why it is showing two different IDs in Navis. When you change the selection resolution to first object or last object, then you will be getting the actual element ID. Then it works back again. Okay. So that is the logic. That's the logic behind it. Okay, well, if you want to play with those kind of things, let's say um, element.id, element.name, element.category, element.get location, let me apply the same thing. So element.id, element.id. So when I connect this to this, I'll be getting like element IDs of it. So 471580, that is extracting as the same. Now I can assign all these element IDs to elements again. How do I do that? Very easy. Let's say get parameter value. I'm sorry, like set parameter. I want to set the values to one of the parameters. So set parameter by name. So when I want to set all these elements. So this is an expecting this is output is an element. So this is expecting an element. So I connect this to this. Now it is expecting the parameter name. So parameter name always it would be like a string. So when I connect this to this, like a string would be whatever, like a, let's consider a mark value. When I like, let's say, okay, mark value or comments parameter, whatever it is, comments. So when I connect this to this, and the value, it has to be, it is an integer. This is expecting something else like a string from object. When I connect this to this, when I assign this to this, for every element, you can see the element ID over there. Electrical equipment. When I select this, now in the comments parameter, I can see the element ID of it. I can see when I click on this, I can see the element ID of it. So this is very easy to this kind of a thing. Why? The mostly what I'm trying to convey is when if it is expecting an element, you must have to connect that element, because I connected the element. It is expecting the parameter name, I connected the parameter name. It is expecting a value, so I connected the values. So we have a 29 elements, you have to connect the 29 elements. If you connect 30 elements, the script would go on wrong. This is how actually it works. Okay, well, if I want to get the element names information, so element dot name. So why I'm calling with element dot name, because the output itself, it is an element, so I have to call a connecting node with the element itself. Okay, so ep2 pp2b, and I want to get the location of it. So element dot get location, or whatever it is, location element dot location, whatever. So when I connect this element to this, it will be showing like XYZ information again. It will be giving you the XYZ information. Now, if I want to set the same XYZ information to the mark value, then you can set it easily. Okay. So no, I want to get only the X value information out of it. Then how do you do that? Again, what are you getting out of it? It is a point. How do you know that's a point? There's a secret again. So again, how do you understand the points, whether it is a point or not? Let's say there is a tool called like there is a node called like object.type. Okay, so this is not going to be the session actually. So either you should, I mean, I want to explain you. So again, it is saying it's like a point. So it's saying it's a point. So you have you want to get the X information. So what I do, I have a point with me and I want to get the X information of it. So when I connect this to this, I'll be getting only the X values. 19639, 19639, 210005. This is how actually it works. So this is just like element extraction. So this is how actually it looks like. I mean, if I wanna get the element parameters again, element dot parameters, element dot parameters. So I'll be getting this element dot parameters. These are very basic thing that I'm explaining you. Total we have a 2645 parameters for the entire 29 elements. Okay, now if I want to know only for the one element, then how do I do that? I want to get one element, the first element itself. So lm in the brackets, if I go with the zero item. So what is a zero item? That is a ep2. So when I connect this to this, you will be getting like ep2 itself. When I connect this to this, I'll be getting parameters of the particular element only. Okay, so it has 80 parameters itself. The ep2 element itself, like it is having 80 parameters. So I want to get the values out of it. So I have a parameter, I want to extract the value. So the same technique, parameter dot value, parameter dot value, the same logic, where in the entire mostly if you're playing with the entire scripting, this is the only subject that you have to focus on. So the topic that I'm explaining you now, it is not even like a 5% of the entire training program. You'll be learning a lot during the training. Okay, but this is not the way, this is not the end where I teach. I'll be teaching you the design scripting up to what extent. You can ask me what up to what extent that you can teach. I'll teach you up to the design scripting. What do you mean by the design scripting? Coding again. What type of a coding again? If you go and check curriculum, where that is the design scripting. So design scripting fundamental syntax, object types, and replication list level and nesting conflicts, intelligence, dot notation. The one what we covered, the topic, it is not even 10, I mean 50% of the dot notation. We have a rest of the 50%, no 60% topics that, so entire what we learn, that is only one topic. The rest of the topics, it will take a lot of time, seriously. Okay, color standards, statements, variables, organization, like comments, lists and design scripting, arithmetic. Up to what extent? Let me show you. You after the training, like you don't like to create these nodes. You will be going with coding. I mean coding part. What kind of a coding? For example, I have an element. I have an element. So I have an element here. So I want to get the parameters out of it. Let's say type parameters. I'll be getting the parameters out of it. So I want to get the names of it. So name, I got the names. Okay. What do you have any area parameter, or do you have any like a commons parameter? Let's say, let me cross check. I'll check with commons. I'll check with the commons. I'll go through with the entire thing. False, false, false. No, 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 no. False in the sense no. 16th parameter, that is a commons parameter. Okay. If there is a commons parameter, and what is the value in it? If there is a I'm just asking now, if there is any commons parameter, then what is the value of it? So what I get, I'll do the same thing. mm, I'll just copy the same, copy, paste. I want to get the value out of it. I want to get the value of it, or else rest of the print rest of the things, like I want to print a null value. Rest of things I want to print null value. So wherever you can see the null values, this is the, in the comments parameter, we have a value which is like 471580. That's it. Okay, well, I don't want to see the null values. I want to see only the value of the particular comments. Then what do you do? I'll simply go and refine again, ds core dot list dot clean. I'll use the entire next to the null. How do I understand all the syntax? I'll be getting the value itself. Clear? So no, I want to extract this information. I want to select that information. I want to get that information which is which is a thing of it. I mean, what is the parameter of it? So you can get, I mean, select that element. You can do a lot. I mean, you can create your own definitions. So by the end of the training program, let's click no. I'm gonna close this. Design scripting day 4. Oh, I think the day 16. So generally it's, I say it's a 15 days training program, but still I have a 3 more days training I mean 3 more days training pending for them. It is like almost 18 to 90 days, 19 into 2 hours, 38 hours. So I say 38 hours. I don't know like how you can learn the entire Dynamo in uh, 1 hour and 2 hours and 3 hours. It will take more than uh, sometimes 40 hours. Okay, frankly, because I have set my personal time. I sacrificed my personal time like in thousands of hours from last 4 years. I've been into this. I spend like I used to sit on this. I used to play with my in my office time itself. My company never allow me to do these kind of a things, but I used to do after my office hours. And if I know what is the task for tomorrow, I would be able to do that with the help of a Dynamo, and I'll be doing it. I know the task will take like 5 hours or 8 hours, a full day or 2 days. I'll be doing with the help of like a Dynamo in like 1 hour or 2 hours, but still I'll be delivering the same output after 2 days itself. The rest of the hours, like what I utilized within the office hours, I'll be playing with, I'll be creating one more script for the next task, what I generally do. For example, if I place an elements, the next task would be the tags. The tags, and the next would be, it is like placing the tags on a proper place. If I place the elements, I mean, if I place the lights, the next task would be assigning the circuits. How can I assign the circuits? How can I assign the circuits? I mean, 8 elements in a one circuit. How do you separate it again? For example, if I have a number of elements, I have a number of elements. How do you do that? This is day 16 scripting. So how do you create your own definitions and actual panel rating, and what do you do with this entire thing? So instead of, this is called actual code. First of all, I'll teach you like the how do you write this entire in the coding, and this is called coding part. Well, there is a process called code to node again. Most of the cases you see in forums, in the Dynamo forums or any discussion forums, you will be able to see something in design scripting only, in the design scripting. But mm, you don't able to understand. You can decode it again back to the node system. That is what called code to node again. Most of the part that you cannot see the entire, I mean, instead of creating this entire like we have a 4 lines here, the first line, the second line, and third line, and fourth line. This brings the first line, and this brings the second line, and this brings the third line, this brings the fourth line. How do you understand this? So you will never go through with this kind of a lines after your training session. You do prefer the design, I mean, the design scripting only. Trust me, you will really enjoy this design scripting. Okay, well, again, once I converted that to the code to node, there is another process called node to code again. There is an again process like node to code. How do you do that? Let me show you. Okay, I can't. It'll take a lot of time. So there is an again one more process. Like it's like a note to code. Again, I'll explain you that. So you'll be getting this. So this and this work same, but which is the practical proven method is this. But you should know, you should able to understand this method and this method and this method to get a complete hands-on on the Dynamo. Okay, so this is how my training would be, guys. This is how my training would be. Okay, well, if you have any questions you can ask me now. Of course, I have to leave now. I have another meeting in next 10 minutes, so otherwise I could explain the geometry as well. So the geometry yesterday, in yesterday's session, I explained the geometry, like how do you place the points. After placing the points, how do you convert that into the lines, and how do you convert that into the curves, how do you convert that curve into the walls, and how do you convert that in curves into um, mm, like that's how do you convert that into the things. How do you create a surface, based on the surface how do you extract some information. So if you required, I'll be sharing yesterday's session as well. If you see the complete program, there is somewhat uh, like difference in yesterday's demo and today's demo. Okay, there's somewhat a difference on it. Do you feel that a difference, Sushant, or is it the same? Sushant?
Exactly. There is a difference. Yes.
There's a difference. So yesterday's demo is completely
Yeah.
different. Today's demo is completely different. So this is how actually, I mean, I'll be go through based on your queries. So this is how. Generally, if you want me to share that demo as well, yesterday's demo, I'll be sharing. I'll share you that as also. Okay. So from yesterday's demo, like we already have a finalized, like 6 students are in. Okay, where we can allow only 4 students for the next batch is going to start from 19th, and ours would be like 8:30 to as I said, it's a 10. Sometime mostly it'll be taken to the 10:30. Okay, don't look at the hours like 2 hours can I spend. If you spend now, you'll be whatever you spend. I mean, if you want me to explain, if you want me to explain the Dynamo in a day, in 1 hour in a day, I can do that, but you will be in loss. If you getting a proper training, also, if you're spending your own time, mostly, I'm not I'm not a like a professional trainer. I'm a passionate trainer. There is a difference actually. Professional trainer works for money. I'll be here because I'm a passionate in teaching. So whatever I'm earning from you guys, again, I'm spending on uh, creating some sort of a free add-ons, and I have a team and I'm paying them. So that's again, it's a business trick. So this is only in a day. I'll sit only for 1.5 hour to 2 hours with you team to showcase my company profile. In every company, there must be a student of mine. Okay. Well, if you've gone through a company, Bimera, so I've been trained more than 200 persons, and I'm recently collecting. These are the reviews, and if you don't believe, these are not auto-generated. These are, you can go and check with this LinkedIn profiles. You can ask them how the training would be. This is very my training is completely like a spoon feeding, guys. I'll treat you like a kids, and I'll explain every doubt in a opening banana and putting mouth. This is how my training would be. Okay. Well, you will really enjoy it. Of course, I'll somewhat arrogant also if you don't do the given tasks. Okay. My main focus would be you, and I'll leave my machine in front of the other participants, and I'll ask you to do in front of me. Of course, we do support. I mean, I'll do this generally for every in every sessions. So, well, trust me, you will really enjoy it. And after 15 days, 15 to 20 days, count you can as like you are a BIM programmer completely. Well, of course, it's not up to the advanced level, you can consider which is nearest to the advanced, because if you practice it, then only you can count yourself as an advanced user. If you don't practice, you're an intermediate user. But I'm gonna teach you all the key concepts, everything. I don't leave a single pinpoint of the entire training program. What do you mean by Dynamo? What is a data structure? What do you mean by the interface? The complete anatomy. This itself take many hours. Okay, well, the computational thinking, you will be getting a certified. You can, if you go through a Bimera training profile, Bimera LinkedIn profile, you can see some sort of a badges which we issued, certificates which we issued to the students before. Okay, well, these are the topics that we teach generally. These are the main 10 key concepts. If you're good in these 9 key concepts, and if you're not a master in this, you are zero in Dynamo. If you're good in all this, and if you're poor in data types, you are zero in Dynamo. This is what I can confidently say. You must have to be good in all the key concepts, all the key concepts, because sometimes you will be finding issues with the data types. Sometimes you will be finding issues with the execution types. If you're playing with a periodic, you must need some sort of a set of a nodes. What type of a nodes? If you don't know, you're zero. There is no point of paying like 25,000 per for a course. Count you are paying, it's a worth penny. Seriously, every penny you will enjoy it. Every minute, every second, you will definitely enjoy it. The sessions will not be boring, like trust me. Okay, well, so this is for today. Have a meeting in next 8 minutes, so I have to leave. So if you have any questions, so ask me now. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
hi. Faiz
Yeah,
here.
Faiz. Yeah, Faiz.
I can say on behalf of every participant we have here that this was a very helpful session we had. Thank you for the session. For me, myself, what I can ask is that I have discussed with you already that what are the further procedures to get enrolled in?
I'll explain you later after this call. Not in this. I mean, if you have any technical questions, you can ask me. Not the training
Um,
related queries. Okay. Well.
Okay. So the technical thing, the Revit lookup engine.
Hmm.
So like you will be sharing the
Yeah,
same
we'll be sharing.
thing with us,
I'll share you. I'll share you
and like what currently you are using the mind map to
everything.
note down this stuff.
Mind mapping,
So
actually, it is my personal tool, but still, I don't have an issue sharing that, because if you keep using it, that is a benefit for you. I don't have an issue, but at the time of installation, you need me for sure, because I have that key. Okay, that's from the company, so I'll ask. I'll get it from the IT and I'll share. That's not a big deal. Okay, well, so
okay,
I'll be sharing you
okay,
the packages which I'm using in my Dynamo here. I'll be sharing you all the packages, and these packages were cleaned in the sense, for every package there are some bugs. Some sort of a packages were there. If you install a number of packages, 100 package 10 packages, out of those 10 you would be getting like 20 to 30 20 to 30 bugs in it. So I cleared those bugs, and these are like a cleaned one. So I'll be sharing you all these packages in third day or fourth day itself. Okay, I'll explain you
and
how
then
to install it. So where
yeah,
even you won't stuck anywhere, and um, even nowhere. We are on the right track, in the same track in that case. Clear?
and what infra is required to like proceed ahead, like Revit 19, 20, 21,
Anything
or
is
is it
fine.
fine?
Anything is fine.
Okay,
About 2018, anything is fine. No issues. Clear?
okay, okay, great,
Well, well.
great. Thank you.
So
Appreciate
anyhow, I mean, I'll explain you all these topics. I'll be sharing you. I'll be in touch with on WhatsApp. So I'll be sharing you what are the required documents. I mean, what are the things that you have to prepare. I'll be sharing you the Dynamo software as well. I mean, if you're using very outdated version of a Revit, I'll be sharing you that. I'll bring you into the complete pitch into ourselves. I mean, every student, every person, every participant would be into the same track. Okay, otherwise it would be there would be a conflict, lot of conflicts. we'll see. Okay, well, any other technical questions?
I wish I have.
No,
Yes.
from my end.
Hello, can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have two questions. In case if during the training or after completing the training, if we are creating some scripts, means if we need your help, means will you support?
Sure, Madan. Sure, Madan. See,
Yeah.
seriously, sometimes even I had helped like during your interviews timings also. I mean, if you have a like a interview, at that time also I'll be helping you. It's not like saying to get an admission. Okay. Generally, I did, and I'm the key person for most of the companies like L&T and like Mac. There are some sort of a companies if they need any Dynamo like for Bureau Happold, like I'm the person who interviewed selected the Dynamo candidates, and out of those I've been sent like 6 candidates into the companies. Okay, so that they don't know that they are my students, but they did good in they did well, they performed good, and they're very active in the training time. Okay, let me stop this recording now. Shall we leave? Okay, if you want get this recording, if you want to get this recording, please drop your email IDs in the chat box quickly, because I want to leave now. So do it quickly if you want to get this recording. Oh, Tundi Ajay, you joined yesterday also, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I want the video of this one. Then there's yesterday's video too. I've not gotten it.
Okay, sure. I'll share you. I'll share you. I'll
The
share you.
two videos. I will send you my email address now.
I'll share.
Then
I'll
maybe I
share.
will send. I will communicate you through WhatsApp on how I will register.
Sure. Thank you.
Alright.
Okay. See you guys. I have to leave. Everybody texted, right? So like yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody. Okay. Yep. I got everyone. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. I have to join the meeting. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.